Okay, everybody, welcome. It is Monday night, September 28th, 2015, and obviously September is in a blur. It feels like yesterday we were talking about Labor Day.
Yeah.
Oh, wait till Labor Day's over. Oh, yeah, it's a month ago already.
Right, and end of the quarter.
Yep, yep. So interesting day today. Obviously, I'm trying my best to have a visual up here of how the market traded. This might actually be a little deceiving because the market did not trade higher at all today.
Yeah, we actually didn't. Going
But
down.
the big red arrow just looked too enticing to not have on the screenshot today.
Oh, you had a nice call in the late morning or mid morning. We started to consolidate down at the lows in the spiders, and in several stocks like Facebook was doing that. Nike, quite a few of them, and we got that leg lower.
The one thing that was holding the market up a little bit was, let's call it the quote unquote high beta stocks that were showing good relative strength over the last 2 weeks. Whenever the market got hit or gapped down, they were going lower on the opening with the market, but they were very clearly intraday having rallies. And I, I think that today they gave that up very quickly. Like there was no point during the day to the more let's say the first hour where you're like, nope, these guys are catching a bid. Just a question of them turning around. I didn't see that at all today.
Yeah, no, I absolutely did not. Netflix tried valiantly for a while there and then just kind of gave it all up and went below 100.
So let's actually show the picture of what we're looking at coming into today. This was end of last week. Here's the close end of last week, and a question of whether or not we were going to push lower again. So here's the call for this morning. I will be the first to tell you I did not have a solid read on this morning, and mostly because of this first note here. A lot of stocks in short sale list. The short sale list, as we'll see in a minute, much bigger than the long list. I would almost say 2 to 1 actually. And we had noticed earlier in the week, last week, where the long list was starting to kind of get back to normal. Price action is SPY confusing, amount of gaps in both directions, lack of momentum, type follow through is frustrating. Well, we certainly cleared that up today. But the one thing here, we also did have major support at 188, and if I'm not mistaken, we closed 2 cents or 10 cents below that today. So that was kind of spot on. We'll show everybody on the charts where we actually came up with that. I do want to give you credit, though, Marion. Today you had mentioned, I was focusing on the financials and oil, but you did mention the transports today. We could take a look at that. The IYT just got obliterated in the morning and gave this first push down in the first, let's say, 45 minutes of the day. There was just no sniff of them catching a bid. So when you combine that with the financials week out of the gate and the market right out of the gate, we'll go over these a little bit slower. But when you start to get all of the stocks that were holding up, taking a shellacking as well, there was pretty clear that today was not going to be the day to be bidding below the opening price. There was so much money on the same side of the market today. It was clear what to do. I think just what kind of threw everybody off a little bit, or I guess I can't speak for everybody. What kind of threw me off, the gap lower, big support. I didn't expect us to get through this short-term support. I actually thought we were going to open lower. We had low here, basically in the same spot. And I kind of thought we were going to push down, consolidate there, and then maybe tomorrow have this push that we saw down here. Actually, you can see the same thing here. I think we're going to hold this level here, and it kind of started to do it a little bit. But there was just too much on one side of the tape today for it to catch a bid, which actually now takes us into tomorrow because we didn't have the 250 million share down day today, although it was blatantly clear. And 150 million is still a lot. It's not the monster day that we saw over here. So now we're into support, which let me zoom out a little bit just to show where like the support's coming from. So basically a day over here, a day here, and now today. So I kind of feel like tomorrow we're going to get a push lower, but then bounce back up into this resistance level, which is right around 188 now. A lot of people are discounting this low down here, and I know we kind of are too. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think so too. I just think to take note of the fact that we've just had two trend days in a row in the same direction. I mean, we have
Amazing. If you just learned how to trade the last 3 months, you'll find those like the most amazing thing ever. You probably thought it could never happen.
and nice trend days, not just little blurps, you know.
At any point during the day, did you feel like, all right, let me look for a spot to bid?
Um, I was watching in the late morning to see what the market would do there, and I don't know if you saw the spiders tried. They got out of the little box they were in. They tried, but it lasted all of about, I don't know, 6.5 minutes.
This one here?
That one there. And after that, I didn't see any. I didn't even think about buying after that. I thought that was the last chance, and as soon as that came in, I was like, okay, this is over. I think I told the people in the 12 o'clock, someone said it looks like the market's, on the going down or something. And I said, yep, I agree.
Yeah,
I did not think that you could see buyers coming in with any kind of conviction at all during the day. For the rest
let's review the game plan for today. And again, obviously, you can go to tradingeducationblogs.com, and usually one of the first 2 blog posts on here. If not, you can go to the blog and pick it up. But just to give everybody an idea of where we're going to get the list that we're about to look at right now. We just covered the notes. AMBO was my trade of the day on the short side. You see we had plenty of room to go down there. So just basically touching on, obviously we have some longs. This was the end of day map in the SPY. Kind of interesting to actually see a couple of things that were green in there. But then here's the close, obviously closing on the lows, big spike in volume at the end of the day. And again, we try and make this a trading recap, not so much a market recap. You got to anticipate a lower opening tomorrow. No, it's just a question of follow through.
Just how much lower? I actually think it depends on where it opens and if we get a little bounce or not. If it doesn't open too much lower, I can still see us drifting lower. If we have a really wicked opening way down, then I could see us bouncing.
So a mild open lower, if you're coming into let's say you're coming into the tomorrow morning short, a mild open, we would expect follow through let's call it a vicious open to the downside would be more of a cover of a short sale.
Yeah, I think people will start to cover. I know I bought VIX calls home with me, and I'll certainly cover if we have a really, really, a real spike downward, make an impulse down.
Let's actually make sure we explain what that means just briefly. So VIX calls means going higher, which means the market's going lower, just to give everybody context on that. Okay? Because we don't want anybody getting confused with, well, why'd you buy calls if you think the market's going down? The VIX,
right. The VIX is typically called the what do they call it?
The fear index.
Right, the fear index. Thank you. I was trying to figure the word out.
Okay, it's been a brutal day.
It's been a tough one. The fear index actually trades opposite of the market, so it's
So buying calls here is anticipating the VIX going higher and the market going lower.
Yeah.
Okay, so getting into some of the ideas on the long side, you can see I didn't even highlight anything green today. The market pretty much across the board. Although, I guess, Mary, we could talk about TSO a little bit in the morning and this cruise. Actually, those two, they were actually looking pretty good, especially TSO in the morning. You can see here, let me zoom out a little bit here. Actually, you know what? You could probably even see it better on a 5-minute chart. Let me just give that a little context to show how strong it looked out of the gate. Yeah, it's actually pretty good there. $100.50 to 103 in the first 15, 20 minutes of the day. And you can see why it's been on our list for the last days. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row where it closed positive over the open. New 20-day highs, filled the gap. So it was in the long list today and actually shot up long out of the gate, but the market overall just took a hit. So really what I want to get across here is you have to stick to these are my long onlys, these are my short onlys, and if you wanted to short today, the better, clearly this came in hard, but the better shorts were obviously the ones that already had selling pressure. It was just a question of how much room they actually had to go, which that kind of was a problem in the morning. How much room do stocks have to go?
Right, sure.
CRUS actually had a nice 20-day breakout and a gap higher. That was why it was in the list today. Just didn't follow through. So finishing up on inside days. Again, as we talked about last week, inside days with gaps a little bit tough to manage because you kind of hope that they open flat and push out of the flat open on the inside day, which you normally get when it's a consolidation type day. But Caterpillar was one of a large list of stocks that had good, clean trend days to the downside today. So you can see it had inside day, open lower, and actually did push lower, 64.25 to around 63, 63.20. So you got a good dollar plus even after that move. So one of the better stocks that actually traded outside of an inside day into a gap. Clearly, the short list was, you can see here clearly, just the short sell ideas was twice as big as the list on the long side. I don't think it was that difficult to pick a side today. It was really just a question of whether or not you believed what you were saying, with the most recent price action probably having you a little bit hesitant to believe we were going to get follow through.
True, right.
But I guess that's that's really where your trading discipline comes in, and you have to trade what you see and put all the past trades out of your mind and just follow the charts. And if every hour is going down, pretty much no reason to look at anything else really. Any closing comments? I mean, there's not really a massive amount to talk about today. I mean, we could go through 25 stocks that traded lower today, but that's pretty much the entire list. I guess we can cover some of the bigger caps. A little surprised at the selling in Apple early in the day, Marion. I know you had mentioned.
I was definitely surprised with the good news that it came out, the record iPhone sales.
Yep.
And you know what? Even before pre-market, when we were in the pre-market meeting, I said, "Look, it's not getting any attention. It's gotten no real buyers from that news." And Pete pointed out that he thinks Apple's become a different company, and I think he's probably right.
I think the market's different. The market is certainly maturing, and they don't have the stranglehold on the competitive advantage that they did.
Yeah, and you sure could tell with that news out. So that was pretty surprising.
Netflix unable to, obviously the market got hit today, but unable to hold on to 100 and not able to hold on to it convincingly.
Right. It tried it for a second. It got over that 20-day moving average and came right back.
I felt pretty good about Netflix today. The fact that we got hit on Friday pretty hard, but even though it reversed, it was still in the upper part of the range from Thursday's price action. So I actually thought we were going to open lower, test Friday's low, and then have a rally. But the big picture in the market just took over, and there was really no coming back. Same thing with Facebook. Got below those the all-important 20 and the 50 that we've been watching for a while, and you can see here pretty much traded from high to low today. So not a day to be picking a bottom, not a day to be guessing. It was one of those days where the no matter what indicator, whether a market internal indicator or just price action, not many signals that gave you a good idea to get long today. And if you did, maybe I can justify it in a stock that came into the day that was very strong that you want it to be long. But with the way that overall, and actually, this is a good way to finish the meeting. We spent a lot of time in the pre-market meeting today discussing, translating a pre-market plan into trade management. Well, trade management today was, if the market's getting hit this hard and I did want to come into the day long a certain stock, you are more inclined to not be bidding down here. And let's just assume for a second Facebook is a strong stock just to keep it on the board here. If it's below the open versus above the opening price, you can get away with bidding down here below the opening price on a day that the overall tone of the market's stronger. So that'll translate into trade management. But on a day like today where everything is red and clearly pulling back, you're less likely to manage a trade or to enter a new position below the opening price because of the overall tone of the market versus, let's say, a day the market's trading strong, you like the stock long coming into the day, you can bid below here and then probably add if the stock gets up into this area. So again, Joan and Alana and a couple of people from the morning meeting, asking to help us take the game plan into the trade management section part of it. That's a good example there of your trade entries that you're looking for, only wanting to be long as that idea, but not taking the long below the open because of how the market was trading that day. So you can adjust your trade management a little bit to that. So I think we're going to end the meeting on that, Marion. I think tomorrow we're going to get a lower opening. It's just a question. I think your input was really solid on that. It's just a question of how far lower we open to dictate whether or not you're going to short the open. I will say this: if we open higher, I think a higher open's a short sale as well.
I definitely agree with you there.
So 3 different opens there. A higher open's a short sale. A unexaggerated lower open is a short sale. A exaggerated lower opening is a cover.
Yeah.
But not necessarily a buy.
Right, right. I agree.
Big difference. You can see buying some stronger stocks, but not something that's already weak. So buying, covering a stock that's extended is not a reason to buy that same stock. Go to a different stock that's already strong.
Yep, exactly. Agreed.
Okay. Thanks, Marion. I appreciate it. Have an awesome night.
Okay, you too, Pete. Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.